Hi, there's an issue in our email sending code. Here, in the welcome email, we specify the path to our front-end page where a new idea should be created. And if one day we want to change it, we'll go to the routes.ts file in our front-end and change its address there. For example, like this, save our code, and everything breaks without us even noticing. That's because we've hard-coded this path. We need to remember we did it, go here, and declare it there. It's not good. It would be better to import this route directly from the frontend. But our code isn't ready for that yet. Let's teach our backend to import something from the frontend. Our frontend already knows how to import from the backend, but the backend doesn't yet know how to import from the frontend. That's what we'll focus on. And, as it turns out, it's not such a trivial task. So, well, to begin with, let's do what's essentially obvious. Let's open the package.json of our backend and add dependencies, similar to how it is in the frontend's package.json. Let's take a look. We have the frontend's package.json, and here we specify that we depend on the backend. Okay? Here, we indicate that we depend on the frontend. Okay? Save it, and run pnpm install to connect everything. All right, good. Added frontend to dependencies. Let's go to our emails.ts file and import thus moment. Import the file with roots. Got it? Okay, and replace the string accordingly. Get new ID route. Fine. Let's check how it works. So we don't have to register 1,000 times. Let's restart the backend. And we'll see that problems have started. Must use import to load ES module. We'll Google it later and so on. It turns out that in our web app in the tsconfig, no, not in tsconfig, but in package.json, it's specified. So this is the web app, package.json. Yes. Oh no, here's the web apps package JSON. Yes, here's type module. Let's delete type module and restart the backend. All right, here. This type module defines the style of working with modules, and in general, we just drop it. It was module by default invite. In our development here, it's not important to have a module. Okay, it worked for us. Now let's try to send this email. And I suggest we temporarily create such a function in the index.ts file of the backend. So, send email. So, send welcome email. Email. Then mass.random to string. Now we'll wrap it all in a string. Example.com. Example.com. What's the error? Oh, what's the warning? Oh, it's not void. It is void. Okay. Mic test. Saving changes. Restarting the backend. An email is being sent. We haven't set the Brevo key. And this is how our email looks. And the address ID is correct. Good. We changed the front-end address ID to new idea, for example. We check if our front-end is working. Like this. Idea. This is an idea. Yes, new idea. As for the backend, it also sends emails to the correct endpoint. And everything works, and it's great. We move on and then find out that during the build, nothing works. Let's first make sure that our backend is actually broken. For this, we will stop it and run the command pnpb build. And build our backend. Okay, the backend is built and is in the dist folder. Now we need to run it. We run the built backend using the start command, which uses the node command to find the index.js file in the dist folder and run it. All right, let's pnpb start. We have an immediate issue. Can't find module. Here we go into libemail.js and see that it tries to import from here, and it finds nothing. In this case, it was believed we should have built the front end first. It was supposed to somehow already be built in our modules, but that's inconvenient for us. We need this file to be included in the build during the backend and exist there. So let's take care of all this. For this, we will need to install some plugins for TypeScript, and they are purely for development. We'll install them in the root. V, D, install. V means in the root covering JSON. We need TS patch for TypeScript plugins to work, and the TypeScript transform path plugin. There are different ways to solve this problem. In the end, I like this method the most. Okay, while they are installing, let's go to backend.tsconfig.json and apply this plugin. So we choose compiler options and add the following. Plugins, the plugin that we installed, and it replaces paths. It does the following. In the resulting JS, it searches and replaces strings, starting with idea, Nick. Web app, that is, this one, yes, with a path to this web app. Up one folder, web app, and then the same path. Okay? Then, this TS patch is not so simple. It also needs to be invoked. And it's invoked with the following command. TS patch install s. But we need it to install not only when we decide to install it, but by default whenever packages are installed. For this, remember, we have in the package JSON a script called prepare. Prepare itself is called every time Node modules are installed, and we already have Prisma client generation here. Let's add TS patch install after Prisma client generation using 2 ampersands. So let's install it. We make sure TypeScript patch is installed. All right, installed the modules. This prepare should have also triggered. Now let's try building our backend again. pnpmb build. So, once again, our resulting email file looked like this. Building backend. The dist folder was deleted, as it should be, and then it was recreated. We go into it, and now the structure is different. Previously, our backend was directly in dist, but now other things have been pulled in. But let's take a look at that same email file, lib emails, and we see that here is another path that leads us to this folder. Well, we can try to run our backend with the start command, but we'll get an error that the file dist index.js is not found because it's now in dist backend index.js. Let's accordingly edit our backend startup scripts. All right, what has changed here? Well, first of all, the start command. It was dist. Now it's dist backend start src. Just like that. Dist backend src. All right? And what could easily be overlooked is that our copy emails command has changed. It was like this, but now it's like this. So what changed? We now copy from src emails to dist in the dist backend folder. And we no longer need to remove the src prefix because now we have dist backend src. Right? So I delete the old one and keep the new one. Okay? So let's build our backend again, because our final build command changed since we changed the email build command. All right, backend build. Dist backend src emails. Yes, our emails are pulled in. Let's try to start the backend with pnpm bstart. All right, and we see that our send email function works immediately. This is the send email function we added to our index.js file. Here's that send email. We don't need it anymore. Our backend is working fine. We can check the front end. Yes, yes, everything is good. There you go. Now we can import anything from the front end to the back end. We won't set any restrictions on importing from the front end to the back end because there's really nothing wrong with it. So that we don't import anything from the back end into the front end. Nothing terrible will happen with the back end. It's only scary to import something incorrect from the back end into the front end. All right, good. Well, everything works and we can move on. Thank you all.